Cincinnati. We have 15 schools participating this morning, and we thank Archbishop Schnurr for his time today to answer your questions. We'll be rotating through the schools to allow each school to ask a question, and we'll just go through as many times as we can in the hour we have together. Are we ready?
Well, let me say, first of all, each year I look forward to participating in this event where I have an opportunity to speak to a number of high school students throughout the Archdiocese. And this year in particular is very important because, as some of you may know, the Holy Father periodically calls together representatives from throughout the world to study particular topics and see how the Church is doing in various areas of ministry. For example, it was a couple years ago that he called together the bishops of the world to look at the whole and discuss the whole situation of marriage and family. Well, he has just recently announced that he is once again going to call together representatives from throughout the world, and the subject in the gathering will take place in September of 2018, and the subject is young people, faith and vocational discernment. And the Holy See wants to hear. The Holy See doesn't want to just talk about young people. The Holy Father wants to hear from young people. And we want to follow that model in this Archdiocese as well. I mean, each diocese is to put together a program to give young people an opportunity to speak about their concerns of the faith, their concerns within the Church. And so we will be doing that during the next few months. We don't have a whole lot of time because we have to send the report of our discussion. We have to have all of those submitted to Rome by September. So it's putting together a pretty tight schedule. But we look forward to, in this discussion leading up to the Holy Father's gathering in September of 2018, we want not only to talk about young people as the Church of the future. That makes it seem like you have nothing to offer right now. And having been to many of our high schools, many of our parishes, I know that you have a lot to offer. And we want to provide that opportunity in this Archdiocese. And we want the Church Universal to hear your voice loud and clear. So we can look forward to that in the months ahead. Now we can begin.
All right, wonderful.
Again, on behalf of McNicholas, we'd like to thank you for being here and really just spending time in conversation with us. I actually brought a picture with me. It's a picture of a Syrian refugee family who's been living in Cincinnati since the fall of 2015. Through my parish and through my family actually as well, we've really gotten to know them and helped them adjust to living here in Cincinnati. I want to read this next part because I just want to make sure I get everything right. But after war broke out in Syria, their house was bombed and destroyed. The father witnessed his mother killed by a sniper. The family was split up, and while most eventually made it to a refugee camp in Jordan, the father had to travel through sewage tunnels in order not to be forced into combat roles or fighting roles. They reunited in Jordan in a Syrian refugee camp, waiting and hoping for a better life. Eventually, they were informed they could come to the United States, and so they arrived in Cincinnati in the fall of 2015. Today, the father is working, the mother is learning to drive, and the kids are in school at Withrow High School, and they're all doing very well. This family is doing everything they can to assimilate into Cincinnati, and most recently, they applied for they tried to apply for their green cards, a step necessary to become a U.S. citizen. Having gotten to know the family here, as we have in the last year, and knowing that there are many Syrian refugees longing to escape the violence that has engulfed their country for years, really makes me want to raise my voice on their behalf. And so it's a bit of a two-part question, but I'd really like to know, what can we expect from the Church's leadership locally and nationally in the conversation around immigrants and refugees? And then in what ways would you encourage young people in the Church to become more actively involved, especially given the direction things have taken in the past couple of days?
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I my heart goes out to refugees, and because who wants to leave behind their native country, their language, their friends, in order to survive? And the Syrian family that you make reference to, they came into the city of Cincinnati because of Catholic Charities, and we continue to be very committed to assisting refugees in this country and the Archdiocese in particular. As I mentioned earlier, I worked in Washington, D.C. for a number of years, and the Catholic Church is has the largest refugee resettlement program in the country. And that shows the level of commitment that the bishops have to refugee resettlement. As a matter of fact, the Bishops' Conference, which celebrates its 100th anniversary this year, it was established, for the most part, to help refugees resettle in this country. So it has been on the agenda of the bishops of this country for a long, long time. This particular family, I've not had the opportunity to engage them as personally as you have, your parish has, but I know that they're doing very, very well. But they do, and they come to this country, they do well, but you still have to have real empathy for them because they have left their homeland. Nobody wants to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. It was in 1990 when I was in Washington, I traveled to Vietnam because it was at that time that all the Amerasians were being forced out of Vietnam. If they stayed in Vietnam, their life would be nothing. And as a matter of fact, they were referred to, the Amerasians were referred to as guidoi, the dust of the earth, nothing. They could not have a job. They just had to forage in the fields, really, and whatever they could. And but in the 1990s, the Vietnamese government finally lifted the ban on them coming out of the country, and the United States stepped up in a very, very big way. And I went over to help coordinate some of the activities in the refugee camps. And listening to their stories, it changed my life. And I can only imagine that having the opportunity to welcome this family, it has changed your life, it has changed the life of your parish. There is no doubt that the American bishops will continue and even now, I know that the bishops are expressing some concern on what the Trump administration has put in place as a temporary ban on immigration from some, immigration from some countries. And we'll keep an eye on that. Because, once again, if people are fleeing for their life, they have a right to expect the assistance of those who are in a position to offer that assistance, and the United States certainly is that.